Interviews, education. We are TNM News.
Hi, everyone. Todd Dangan here with TNM News, and we're here for another Todd Talk. And in the studio today, I have a gentleman by the name of Mark Kaz. He is the director of competitions for HighTimes magazine, and he runs the Cannabis Cups across the United States. Talk about a dream job, right? And not only in the United States, but all over the place. And what the Cannabis Cup is, if you've been living under a rock for the last 15 or so years, is they allow brands from each state to submit a sample, and then judges judge and see how good those products are. And it really is a great platform to spotlight brands, whether they're large or small, whether they're new or whether they're some old guys, maybe coming out with new stuff or improving what it is they already have out there. And basically what it does is it gets those products out into the hands of new customers. If you've never been to a Cannabis Cup, get to one, because they're really fun. You really do get to learn about the cannabis culture. You get to meet a lot of great people. And definitely, you should definitely get to one if it is coming to a city near you. And we'll talk to Mark about that in just a minute. Now, Mark started his life in Southern Florida, where I also started my life. So we'll talk about where he grew up and where I grew up. Maybe we know or went to different high schools together. I think I'm much older, but so from Florida, he moved to Cleveland, then to New York City, and that's where he began his marketing career. After New York, he moved to Los Angeles, and he worked in the talent agency business, and he was booking tours for live musicians, stand-up comedians all around the country. And then with his work at the talent agencies, all of a sudden, HighTimes came calling and said, "Hey, Mark, why don't you kind of do this for us and run our events for us?" And now he's taken over all operations for Cannabis Cups for HighTimes. You've heard of them, right? So please welcome to the National Marijuana News. Welcome, Mark. How you doing?
Great, Todd. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm honored to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to ask you an obvious question that I'm sure you get asked every time you go somewhere. How do you get a job at HighTimes magazine, right? Running, the most prestigious award show in cannabis.
It was a really cool opportunity that I had known about for a little bit. While I was working at a talent agency world, we had signed HighTimes as a client. So we were working with them very closely. They were buying comedians from us. They were buying musicians from us for the Cannabis Cup Festival. So Just as you said, Todd, if you haven't been to a Cannabis Cup Festival, we're planning to bring those back next year. Obviously, it's been the pandemic, but that's when you want to go to a real full-scale Cannabis Cup Festival. So I had attended a few prior to ever looking at working at HighTimes.
Right.
Again, starting working with them, getting to know ownership and leadership teams there, and we hit it off. I liked them, they liked me, and there was an opportunity that I needed to fill. So, we had a couple conversations. It seemed to be a really great fit, and I joined them in January of 2018. Mostly just, assisting with events, figuring out entertainment elements, music, comedy, even things like the fun super slides and the Ferris wheels. That was me. Right. And as I kind of dug my teeth into the event space with them, I saw that the competitions were an amazing part of the HighTimes business, and the Cannabis Cups are just a legacy flagship product and competition. It's the Oscars of cannabis. Yeah. So I helped host some of the award shows, and just seeing, handing over a trophy to a grower who's been in the game for 30 plus years, coming from the shadows, finally getting licensed, finally being able to have a light shine on their brand and their products, and bring them to the forefront, being able to celebrate something that they haven't been able to publicly celebrate for years. I would have grown men crying in my arms after handing them one of these trophies. Right. So seeing that and getting to know some of these growers and competitors was just mind changing. It was really awesome to see. So I started talking about the competitions. The opportunity, presented itself, and I said, let me take this on. I'm going to run these, to the best of my ability, with full transparency, full integrity. There's been all these rumors in the past of, oh, it's the biggest sponsors, or, oh, my friend always wins, or because he knows somebody. Right. I wanted to make sure that would never happen. So I took them over. I run them now, and I love it. I'm very blessed to be able to have this opportunity.
Yeah, and the model changed a little bit, right? Because now consumers can literally, anybody can be a Cannabis Cup judge, right? I mean, in the past, when I was growing up, it was always a very prestigious position, to get to be a Cannabis Cup judge, and it was very difficult, right, to become that. So, how has this new business model changed for you? And tell me, is it good or is it bad? I think it sounds great.
It's great, and you're exactly right. It used to be judging was only reserved for people who were vetted out. So we would take applications. We would get thousands of applications from people from all walks of life across each state.
Yep.
So to clarify for your listeners, if they don't know, each competition is state specific,
right? Because
it's not federally legal. We're comparing product within the state.
Right.
All different types of brands, all legal, licensed, compliant brands. So when we would intake their product, we would intake a small amount of product, about an ounce, and then we would be able to build about 200 judge kits. So let's say about 20 kits per category, 10 categories. So those categories ranging from indica, sativa, and hybrid flower to pre-rolls to concentrates, vape pens, edibles, topicals, tinctures, etc. You name it. If it's out there in the marketplace, we have a category for it. So we would intake a small amount of product, create 200 judge kits, and then take thousands of applications and narrow that down to those 200 judges who were essentially proving to us that they had a well-versed palate, that they've either been in the industry for a long time or know somebody at HighTimes that trusts them, that they are going to receive their kit and they're going to put their heart and soul into judging these kits, just like the growers and the processors did when submitting their products. So we had those judges, and it worked great. But we had all these people like, how do I be a judge? I'm willing to pay to be a judge. Like, I apply 5 years every year and I never get chosen. Like, what do I need to do? Why is it only Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, or a homie of HighTimes? Pandemic hit. Cannabis is deemed essential. We are now getting stimulus checks to sit at home and smoke weed.
That was a pretty good time in history. I mean, if anything good could come out of this whole COVID thing, I think the fact that cannabis became essential, right, is one of those things. It sort of validated cannabis, right, to the non-smoker, because they were like, wow, it's right, you get that whole sort of different vibe about it. I think that was a very crucial moment in cannabis history, don't you?
It definitely was. It put the cannabis industry even more so on the map, and for the people who are all about money and, the economic development or the economic benefits of cannabis, that's right up their alley. Hey, all these other businesses are closing. How do we continue to make the money for our city or our state that we would typically make? Cannabis is one of those
right.
It is, I believe, now the 5th most profitable crop in the United States.
I think it just passed soybeans.
There we go. So the government saw it, the people saw it. We wanted to serve those people who were out of work, out of fun, and this is our way. So we opened up judging. We made it what's called the People's Choice model, so that it is more democratized, it is open to the public, and you don't have to apply. It is all first come, first served. If you are adamant enough and enthusiastic enough to believe that you have the palate to judge different types of products and give real feedback and real scores on different criteria, how it looks, how it smells, how it tastes, how it burns, what the terpene profile is like, which is a more advanced term that we want to educate people on as we move away from the generic indica sativa hybrid, or just, hey, it gets me high, or hey, it tastes good, or the THC levels are high. We want people to really learn what terpene profiles are and how that affects the taste, the aroma, and the effects of each type of cannabis product. So overall, it's open to the public. Instead of 200 judge kits, we now create between 2,000 to 3,000 judge kits. So instead of 20 per category, we do about 228 per category. So it is vastly popular. We are selecting exclusive retailers in each state. Once we build the kits, we transport those kits to those dispensaries. We set an on-sale date, and it's like a hype beast, new product drop. People are waiting outside in line at the on-sale days outside of these dispensaries. We see people in lawn chairs, in tents. It's beautiful. It's really
I was going to say, is it like a sneaker drop? Are there people like camping over it, camping?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like a sneakerhead drop, and we see lines. We typically send myself or other HighTimes staff to be at the dispensaries, interacting with judges. Hey, what categories are you getting? Are you going to make sure that you're going to judge properly and to the best of your ability? We're taking photos with them. We're getting content, which is helping to promote the fact that
Sure.
Again, this is open to the public. We want the judges to come in. We want them to be detail oriented. And it's a great way to highlight all of our partners involved, whether it's the brands or the retailers or the judges themselves.
Yeah. 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 And what has been a fun story of a judge of what they did in order to become a judge? Do you have any stories of, that guy who slept there for 9 days or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, definitely along that line, we have, for example, last year in Massachusetts, it was the first ever time working in that state on a Cannabis Cup.
Right.
So people were ecstatic. We were extremely well received, and we had both medical patients and adult users waiting in line for probably 4 hours, since maybe 4 or 5 a.m. waiting for these dispensaries to open.
That's awesome.
We went to Oregon a couple years ago. It was in the fall. It was not great weather, raining, cold. People don't care. They're smiling. They're ready to get their concentrates. They're ready to get their flower. And they just want to be a part of this. People want to help crown the best products within their state. And they want to be able to, this is one of the best ways to sample a ton of different product where it's in gram increments. So you're getting a real solid sample and you don't have to go spend, $60 to $80 on a bunch of aids. You can get these judge kits and get 28 different strains within a kit for a much better value than what you would do if you were to go try it on a typical scale.
Right.
So,
right.
It's been working out really well.
Good.
And the feedback from vendors, the brands themselves, the judges themselves, it's really great. People are ecstatic about this. So we love it.
Good. Yeah, no, I think it's a really much better model than it used to be because, I'm an old stoner and, I heard, of course, we've talked about HighTimes magazine for 100 years, right? And, a buddy of mine, did something 10 years ago or something. And I was so jealous. And I was like, if only, right? How do you do that? And now anybody can do it, which is really awesome. So now that COVID's over and you're going to have this big live events again, what kind of crowds are you expecting? And, why should I go to a Cannabis Cup? I mean, I know why I should go. I'm going to be going, but why should they be going? Right?
Yes. So you've been, so you know the beauty of these festivals.
That's right.
So our plans are to bring really great festivals back to different states such as California, Michigan, the states that we've done festivals in before, and to bring more states online as well. So I'm bringing the cups into new states, as mentioned, Massachusetts, Arizona, gearing up to return back to Alaska this year, trying to launch in New Mexico this year. I'm even talking to people in Thailand, Israel, South Africa, wherever cannabis is well received, we want to have a competition. We want to figure out who is the best. The festivals, when those come back, that is an arena for cannabis enthusiasts and other like-minded people to come together and have really one of the only festivals where consumption is legal, where in some states sales are legal. So you're able to find and buy the best cannabis really anywhere, because these growers are coming to the table. They're setting up booth space. They're going to showcase the best products that they've ever had. Not in the dispensaries, but at our festivals. So people will show up and buy their max purchase limits of some of the best weed that you can find. Again, it's also a place where everybody's it's peaceful. We don't ever have any danger or issues. People are just smoking in peace. They're enjoying the music that we provide, which, to touch on that, we usually get, huge name acts like Wu-Tang Clan or Lauryn Hill or Phil Lesh and the Terrapin Band, Capital Cities, really big acts that people love to listen to while enjoying some of the finest cannabis that the state has to offer.
Yeah, Be Real was at the one here, last one here in Vegas. There was that horrible windstorm. I don't know if you were here at the one in Vegas a couple of years ago before COVID. And then we had a booth there, and suddenly the winds kicked up, and we didn't have a booth anymore. It was crazy. But Be Real was there. So you're expecting big crowds in the new cities. I think that people are really looking for a place to go and, get together with somebody who likes to smoke weed, right? What attracted me very often is the diversity that you see at a Cannabis Cup, right? There's old people like me, there's young people like you, right? There's all ethnicities, there's all sexual orientations, there's guys in suits and, guys without suit, and guys with no shirts at all, right?
Exactly.
There's tatted guys and non-tatted guys, and everybody is just getting along, and it really is a melting pot right, of people who just want to smoke some weed. And it really shows you how powerful this product is, don't you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's again, it's the best place for people to come together, meet new people, and just smoke in peace. And the diversity is out the door. I mean, cannabis is just so universal. Everybody enjoys it. You know, if you enjoy it, it doesn't matter what you are like. It's great for recreational use. It's great for medicinal purposes. So it's an amazing industry that I'm so happy that it's finally getting the recognition it deserves, and that, you know, to be able to work with HighTimes and do the things that we do, you know, educating the world on things, bringing people together, highlighting the best cannabis brands, it's a dream come true.
What has been the most satisfying for you? Because you named a lot of wonderful things that you're able to experience, but you know, you're in the talent business, and now you're kind of in the you know, in the promotion of this award and this, you know, wonderful experience, right? What's been the most satisfying for you?
Satisfying has been seeing some of the small mom and pop shops soar into the stratosphere because of winning an award. For example, in Oklahoma 2 years ago, we had a couple who just got their license in Oklahoma and started making funny edibles like infused pickle chips. I didn't think that would be anywhere. It wasn't up my alley, but it won second place for best edibles in Oklahoma amongst some of the top brands there. So it just goes to show that you can create a product that people will love, even if not everybody agrees, such as myself, or that you're not a big brand or you don't have a ton of money to spend. Seeing that mom and pop shop win, and seeing they had a reaction video. It was just amazingly beautiful to see their reaction to it, how much emotion there was, how much, you know, pride and joy for them, you know, going through, you know, it's not easy to get into the cannabis industry. It costs a lot of money. You have to go through a lot of regulations. It's a lot of paperwork, and there's a ton of competition. So to see their faces being like, oh my God, like we actually did it. Like we built a business and now we're thriving. Now we're featured in HighTimes. Now we're on this website, that website. It's amazing to see that. And back to the story
talk about the impact that has on somebody's brand, right? To be able to hold up the trophy, be able to now go market and say, I won the Cannabis Cup at whatever city they're in. Tell me that the marketing capabilities that is now added to this brand.
Absolutely. So it's the Oscars of cannabis. When you win this award, it is
Right.
bragging rights for forever. You know, it doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago, people still respect this. So getting one of these trophies is a relic of success in this industry. We also promote them in our HighTimes magazine, all over cannabiscup.com, hightimes.com, social media. You know, we have a huge reach, global audience. So just getting even one post from us can really increase brand awareness, followers, all the things that that matter nowadays, the metrics that people are measuring. I've even had stories where people are getting better interest rates on commercial cannabis lease space because the renter or the landowner, leaser is like, oh, you're a Cannabis Cup winner? Great. That means you're going to do good business. You're going to pay your bills on time. I can trust you.
Well, that's quite a testimonial for sure.
Yeah. So it's incredible to see this. You know, we get feedback all the time. You know, hey, my sales dramatically increased. Dispensaries are calling me all day. This strain that won, we can't produce enough, you know, for our shelves. Essentially, it's we facilitate the process for the people in the state to determine it themselves. You know, we're not the end all be all. Of course, we have our own articles. We put out our own opinions. But we let the people's choice allows the people to judge and give real feedback, whether it's wonderfully positive or brutally negative. The vendors deserve to hear all of that. They decide who the best is. And then it's really just, all right, this is what this market is focused on, these products. We want to buy these products. We want to sell these products because they're getting that marketing engine of HighTimes to support that sale or that purchase.
Right. Yeah, so it sounds like a win-win. I'm Todd Talk with TNMNews. I'm here with Mark Kaz. He is the guy who runs the Cannabis Cups for HighTimes magazine. I'm sure you've heard of those guys. And there are events. There you go. Right. It's also right behind you on your background, right? Right.
All of it.
Right. It's everywhere. Right. You got to put your whoop, it's over here. Got to put your logo out there, right?
There you go.
Exactly. So how's the magazine doing? I know that it had some changes over the last couple of years, and how's that going? And I know you guys went into the dispensary business too. How's that going?
Everything is going great. Magazines took a small pause during the pandemic just due to shipping issues. We are full speed ahead on that with now a new and improved magazine, still printing monthly. Find them at your local Barnes and Noble. We're doing double covers now. So we got, usually some beautiful nug porn on the front and perhaps a celebrity or something, some art on the back. We've been partnering with really talented artists that are filling our pages with really aesthetically pleasing, art, whether it's cartoons or amazing, buds and other product. We got a great media team. So they're always covering things from business to politics, growers to science and tech and gadgets, recommending, who's got the best products that we believe, as well as the different gadgets as well. So look out for that. Magazine is full steam ahead. And then, yes, retail and delivery, a very, very amazing step for HighTimes. We're actually touching the plant. We are creating our own HighTimes branded flower and vape pens, which you'll find in California and Michigan. And yeah, the retail stores all across California, NorCal and SoCal and Central California. So beautiful stores, which are more marketplace, kind of farmers market style, where you don't have to, look through a glass jar, but you can just pull product, put it in your basket, bring it up to the counter as if it's a grocery store. People love it. And it's really cool to be able to also host our Cannabis Cup winners in the stores. So that's been a great perk for California vendors. When you win a Cannabis Cup in California, you get guaranteed distribution through our retail and delivery stores. And then second and third place, we give priority consideration as well, because we want to highlight those winners who are participating in our cups and giving these awards.
Right. And are you still doing the California one at the San Bernardino grounds?
That will be most likely where we return to for the live events. We are actually, so we just went on sale for Cannabis Cup SoCal. We received 150 different entries across all of our categories. Kits went on sale last weekend and it was amazing. So now we have kits in the hands of all these amazing people here in the Golden State. They're taking 60 days to judge each product from the comfort of their home. And then we're going to announce the winners in a couple months. So we'll see who's got the best flower, vape pens, edibles, concentrates, you name it in this state for this year.
Awesome. And are there any restrictions in any of the states where for consumption? Because I know it's a very user-friendly sort of event, and you almost want people to try all the new products that are available. Has there been any kind of problems with consumption
for these People's Choice models, or for the live events?
For the live events?
Live events, not so much. We usually will only do an event if we can get approval for consumption. So we work with the local municipalities, finding a venue and partnering with that venue and the local government to ensure that this is our plan. We're going to have cannabis consumption. People are going to remain monitored. We have security. We have, the fire department checks everything out. So we have to go through a whole process to make sure that we can get those approvals for cannabis consumption. And that's the goal for every event. Otherwise, it's very tough to limit people from sparking up. So we do what we can to make sure that that's not going to be a big issue.
Right. Good. Anything else you want to talk about while we got you? Anything you want anyone to know?
For all the listeners who aren't familiar with the new model, go to cannabiscup.com, read up on it. We have all the details you need to know. If you want to sign up for updates, it's cannabiscup.com/pre-register. We have different states that we're planning to go to. So we just launched SoCal. We're going into Colorado next month. Then we do Illinois, Oregon, Arizona, Alaska, Massachusetts, New Mexico. The list continues. So wherever state you are listening from, and we just did Nevada last year, so we'll plan to go back in the next year as well. But yeah, check out cannabiscup.com. We want everybody to be a judge. If you feel like you have a good palate, sign up. And if you're a vendor out there, hit us up, competition@hightimes.com. Happy to answer any questions and get you guys the details you needed so everybody can participate.
Awesome. And I think in Vegas, the best guys to partner with are the on the Indian reservation, because that's the only place that you can really consume. Nuwu Lounge, which is here in Las Vegas. They have a giant, 15,000 square foot dispensary, and then off to the side is this consumption lounge where they call it a tasting lounge. So you can consume there. So that might be something to look into, as you're looking into Vegas, because we did pass the consumption lounge bill, but I think it's still going to be a minute for any kind of legislation to be created. So Mark, I want to thank you for joining me here on TNM News. Mark's friends call him Kaz. So if you see him at the Cannabis Cup, make sure you say, "What up, Kaz?" You can hit him up. And you are at Mayor_Mark. I like that. Mayor Mark, huh? And, if you can hold up one of those incredible trophies, it really adds to your brand over the years. There it is right there. So, Mark Kaz, thanks a lot for joining us on TNM News. We'll look for you at the next Cannabis Cup. So it's always a good time. Check out the Cannabis Cup. Check out cannabiscup.com. Check out HighTimes.com. Check out Mark Kaz. He's the guy you got to know to get in. He's the guy right there, right? That's right.
You're the man, Todd. I appreciate you having us. Everybody, cannabiscup.com, HighTimes.com, at HighTimes Magazine on socials. Stay up to date. We're coming to a city near you. Tell your friends. Hide your kids.
That's right. That's right. Hide your kids for sure. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'm Todd Dangan with TNM News. He's Mark Kaz with the Cannabis Cup and HighTimes.com. Good night, everybody, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
We are TNM News.